Here comes a duck, top of the board, pure skill, not love. Knows every ridge, every rock, every line. While you're still loading, he's taking your spine. Map knowledge deep like an ancient scroll. Reads the terrain like it's part of his soul.
Hello, it's the Ranny Duck and welcome back for another video. And today I've got 3 replays to show you in the Tier 6 German Premium Tank Destroyer, the Dickermax. And that is because this is the level 25 Season Pass war tank of the new season, which is released tomorrow. So yeah, you can purchase this tank for, well, 2,000 gold for purchasing the Season Pass. And you can earn this tank when you get to level 25. So if you want to see the crew and equipment setup I am choosing to run, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. But for the first map, we are here on Lakeville Encounter Battle, where it is top tier matchmaking, and we have 2 enemy artillery in the game. So initially, you know, it's a kind of a stealthy tank destroyer. I'm going to go to the ridge in the middle to see what we can do from this position. I must admit, before knowing this tank was coming out in the Season Pass, up until that point I've never played the tank. So I started to play the tank to get the replays for the this video, and I've actually found out I really enjoy this tank. I was actually quite surprised how much I enjoyed playing it, because I don't normally play the lower tiers, but I actually had a lot of fun because you have 15 degrees of gun depression on this tank, so you're amazing on the ridge lines because you can, you've just got so much gun depression. It's just really great. And then you have this very powerful gun for tier 6 where you've got 300 alpha and a fantastic DPM for tier 6 of 2,181 in this build. And to top it off, you have incredible view range. I think the view range I've got in my build of this tank is 489. To put that in perspective, that's tier 10 view range on a tier 6 tank. So you can definitely spot for yourself in this tank. But already here on Lakeville, it's encounter battles. We have a lot of the enemy tanks pushing towards the town. And we just got to be patient and looking for these shots. So far we've only managed to land 1 shot. I'm not really in the tank, which I can just start pushing into the cap circle because you don't have many hit points. You have 0 armor whatsoever. So you definitely are the more traditional tank destroyer role in this tank, and you do need to be patient and just wait for those opportunities to get damage, because when they start to appear you can pick up damage very quickly. So we do get a lovely shot into that enemy heavy tank there, putting us onto our second pen and putting us just shy of 600 damage. And I'm waiting to see if enemy heavy tanks actually cross, so I'm able to get a shot in just like that, picking up our first kill of the game. Very even on this game so far. I'm not too concerned that we're losing the the train track side and the right hand side, because if we lose that, I'm actually going to be in a good position to farm the tanks which come towards me. I'm just hoping my team can do a good job of getting the resets here and putting pressure on the enemy team in the cap, because like I say, I have to be patient. It's just the sort of tank I'm playing, but playing these ridge lines, I could go right further back down this ridge, and because of the 15 degrees of gun depression the tank has, I can really make use of these ridge lines getting these shots in. So we pick up our second kill of the game, putting us onto 1,400 damage with 2 kills. Now I do have 3 replays to show you. The last replay is actually tier 8 matchmaking, so I do show this tank off when you're bottom tier as well. And this tank can still perform bottom tier just because of the type of tank it is, where you are that sort of traditional tank destroyer role. But so far it's looking pretty good. We're starting to win the cap circle, which is going to mean the enemy tanks are now having to push across the track, and that's going to put me in a position to try and get these shots in. We are technically losing the game at the moment, but I'm just going to just stay into the game as long as I can, because the hit points, although we're a couple of tanks down, it's still very even. So as this enemy poor little medium tank crosses there, we put another big shot in, putting us onto sort of just shy of 1,700 damage, and we might be able to squeeze in the kill before we get back down into cover, picking up our 3rd kill of the game. And as you say, we're going to outspot most of these tanks. There's no enemy light tank on the game, and for a tier 6 tank, our view range is disgusting, so you can definitely spot for yourself. You could put binoculars on and make that view range even further. I prefer to play just with the optics because I tend to move about a little bit more. But we do pick up our 4th kill now and put this onto 2,300 damage, and we're now into a 9 versus 5. Our friendly team have got onto the cap circle, and I'm just going to push forward now because I think this game is coming to an end and trying to get as most damage out as I can before it does eventually finish. Enemy Fun Police gets spotted. We put a juicy shot into him, putting him onto a 1-shot to us. Hopefully should have the kill shot here if we're lucky. Unfortunately for us, Jesus says no, and we just whiffed that shot. But we might have a second chance to actually get this kill in if we can just squeeze it in before he gets behind that ridge line. And we do, and that puts us on to 5 kills and brings us in line for a potential Top Gun medal if we're able to pick up the 6th kill in this game. And we're getting pretty close to the 3,000 damage mark for our tier 6 tank, so we would like to get a couple more pens in if possible, but we're not the quickest. We do only have a top speed of 40 kilometers an hour, and when you're going across sort of terrain, it does, it isn't the quickest TD in the world. We do trade a shot 1-for-1 for that enemy SU there. We're now on a 1-shot to him. He is on maybe a 1-shot to us potentially if we high roll. I would like to get the kill in, but I think ultimately we're going to win this game regardless. We do squeeze another shot in. Now he's a definite 1-shot to us, and we're on about 3,400 damage. I'm just hoping that I can get that one last remaining shell in just to put us onto that Top Gun medal and bring this game to as strong as end as we possibly can. But I've got to be patient because you say I am a 1-shot to this TD as well. He knows that, but I'm going to try and go in and just go edging and edging and edging, looking for the tiniest cupola shot, trying to expose as little as possible to the enemy tank. He pushes up to try and get the kill, and we're ready to pull the trigger. And we confirm our Top Gun medal, bringing us into replay number 1, but 2 more replays to come. So we finished that game with 6 kills, 3,500 damage. The ace anchor is set very high on this tank. We do have almost 2,000 base XP, but this one was a first class. So let's move on to the second replay then of the video. Okay, so welcome back to replay number 2 on Common Man Encounter Battle. This time we don't have any artillery, any Thunder Police to contend with. And there's 1 enemy light tank, but we are top tier again. So this is tier 6 matchmaking for this replay. But as you say, the last replay, we do have a bottom tier game to show you as well. So initially, I'm just going to try and get onto this ridge line. Again, we can use these ridge lines well because we do have about 15 degrees of gun depression. But this is a fairly small map, so the targets are going to get quite close to us, so we're going to have to be careful with that. Unfortunately, that first shot derps and we wasn't able to connect it, but we're just seeing if we can squeeze any early punishing while the enemy tanks cross towards the centre of the map to get into the cap circle. We do have 3 tanks on a cap at the moment, but I don't really imagine we're going to be able to cap out. There's a lot of tanks pushing towards them. We are able to squeeze off the punish on the first tank crossing, looking to see if we can squeeze a second penetration shot on that enemy heavy tank, but he just gets into cover before we're able to, and we do unfortunately get spotted, so we need to pull back and try and lose our spot. There's an enemy light tank behind here. We need to shut down this light tank just because it's basically going to be a nuisance for us, right? But thankfully we're able to shut down them, Leopard, and we pick up our first kill of the game. Bring us to a 14 versus 13. Now, I said there's no enemy artillery in that game, and that is correct, apart from this regiment tank, which is out at the moment, tier 6 medium/artillery. So there is technically still artillery in the game because they made a medium tank which can swap between artillery and normal mode, which is crazy. So we've got to be careful of that tank, but so far he's not causing us too much of a problem. So we're going to just try and extend our view range now because it wasn't getting many shots in. We do put another shot into that enemy Chaffee there crossing, and that puts us on to just shy of 1,000 damage. And a lot of damage still left in this game. We're able to squeeze a shot into that enemy tier 5 crossing in the open. Puts us on to 1,200 damage, and we're hopeful we can try and finish off this light tank, but he gets just into cover before we're able to pull the trigger. So we opt to farm this poor little enemy heavy tank there instead. Hopefully we should get the finish to confirm our second kill of the game. We do. We finish it off blind to shut down the enemy M6 there and put us on to just shy of 2,000 damage now. And now we're moving a little bit closer to see if we can get any more work done. As you say, this game's still very, very even at this stage. We do still have all of our hit points. So yeah, we don't have a lot of hit points to begin with, but we can afford to eat a shot if we need to. We do extend our view range there, and we spot 2 enemy tanks. I think one's a Hellcat 105, which we've got to be careful of because that tank can 2-shot us, and I think he's with his platoon mate as well there. So we do put 1 shot into that enemy tank, and we're looking to just try and move to see if we have any better shots here. It's 9 versus 8, it's still very close. The enemy team have 2 tanks on the cap circle as well. We try and get a shot into the Hellcat 105 there. Unfortunately for us, it derps and it doesn't go true. We're going to try and see if we can get another shot into him because we want to just try and get rid of this tank here as quickly as we can. Again, unfortunately, it derps and his shot doesn't, and it takes away half of our hit points in 1 shot. So we can't really afford to keep playing that game without Hellcat 105. I'm going to try and pull back now because you can see the majority of the enemy team are in and around the cap circle in the centre of the map. So I'm going to try and pull back and see if I can find an angle to get some shots in. They are, I think there's about 2 or 3 of them in the cap circle or near the cap circle, which are 1-shots to us. So hopefully we can try and pick up some more kills. We do pick up our 3rd kill of the game, putting us over the 2,000 mark now and bringing us back to a 6 versus 7. Looking to try and get another kill by killing that enemy 1-shot. Unfortunately, you know, it wasn't to be. He does sort of move out of cover, and I'm trying to work out what's best to do next. You know, so I'm not overly concerned about the cap circle at the moment. We've still got like just shy of 3 minutes to get the reset. You know, so don't have to particularly have to worry about that at the moment. But it's just something to bear in mind. I think the problem is these enemy Hellcat and his platoon mate on this other side at the 9-0 line. I think that's somewhat holding us up, and I probably need to go and deal with them. So I'm going to pop up to see if I can get any more shots in, but I'm thinking what I should do at this stage is actually just move down to the G9 and find a better way to kill them, because every time I'm poking here, I'm getting spotted, and it's not really working out too well for us. I don't think I'm going to be able to kill those tanks from there. So I'm opting to try and do this now. I'm trying to move around, find an angle. Remember, I do have the 15 degrees of gun depression, so if I can try and use a ridge line here on the left, I can potentially put those 2 tanks, you know, in a position where they have to either run or die by me, because I'll put them in a situation where they're in the open. So that's a plan, because I need to remove these 2 tanks from the game so we can order to, you know, basically get on with it, because most of our tanks are in the same location here. So we do op now, and we have the side shots onto this enemy Hellcat 105. Again, we are a 1-shot to him. Hellcat 105 is not the most accurate tank in the game though, so I am going to try and just lose my spot and poke again to either kill the Hellcat 105 or put him onto a 1-shot. We do put him onto a 1-shot. This time we actually don't get detected either, so hopefully now we can try and get the finishing touch in. We do able to take him out for our 4th kill of the game, bringing us above 3,000 damage now. Looking to kill his, I think that was his platoon mate, but no, I'm not sure. I don't think that was. But we do kill that enemy tank there, picking up our 5th kill of the game. And now we're going to try and get some shots into this enemy tank as it runs. Thankfully for us, we actually damage his engine there. We're going to see if we can get the kill shot in. We might have one opportunity to do it, and we do. And we confirm the Top Gun medal, picking up our 6th kill. And now it's only 2 tanks remaining. I think winning that side is sort of cleared up the game now. We've got a lot more freedom. The 1 tank in the cap circle is a 1-shot. We're going to move in, and he actually gets taken out. I think it's an enemy Churchill. And there's 1 last remaining tank. It seems very unlikely I'm going to be able to cross over that map and be able to get the kid in before our friendly teammates actually take him out. So I decided just to stay here and hope that, you know, if he does poke the ridge, we might be able to pick up the kill for our 7th kill of the game. But if not, you know, we weren't going to make it over there anyway. And it looks like that's how it's going to play out. I think he's going to get taken out by our friendly heavy tank. He does. And that brings us then to replay number 2, but with one final replay where it is the tier 8 matchmaking. So let's see how we got on before we move over there. Again, 6 kills, 3,400 damage, the high caliber and the 1st class. So let's see how we get on for the last replay. Okay, so here we are for the final replay of the video. Here on Liberty Falls, where we are in tier 8 matchmaking, so we are bottom tier. Thankfully there's no enemy artillery to contend with, but initially we are going to take an aggressive position, especially that we are in the tier 6 tank. but we want to try and take the middle of the map so we can try and spot for our friendly team and get shots into multiple angles. And here you can see just how good the view range is on this tank. We've already outspotted a enemy tier 8 Belafon there and an enemy heavy tank as well. So we need to try and get into the ridge on the left hand side where we can use this rock as a bit of hard cover in case we do get detected. But we do pick up a tiny bit of assistance there for spotting those targets. I think a lot of our tanks are a little bit too far back to get many shots in. But we're going to try it again and extend our view range to see if we can spot this enemy IS. And if we're not going to get any assistance, we're just going to start farming this tank if he does stay there, shooting through the bush to decrease our chances of getting detected. So we do put one shot in and we try and get a second one in as he leaves. Unfortunately, we ricocheted the shot. We don't have the best of angle there and we do get detected for it. So I need to use this sort of rock here and this little wreck to make it difficult for the enemy team to shoot me whilst I lose my spot. But we do lose our spots, so we're going to go back and see if that enemy IS is going to get pushed again. He does push, unfortunately, although we detect him, we do ricochet on that chance, but thankfully we didn't get spotted for it. But as he's moved down into lower ground, we no longer have shots onto those tanks there. And I have to be careful, like overextending on this ridge, because obviously if we do get spotted, you know, we could eat a lot of damage and it wouldn't be ideal because there's lots of nasty tier 8 tanks which you can take away almost all of our hit points in one shot. We do spot an enemy tank destroyer here, put a juicy shot in and we don't get spotted in return because we, thankfully for us, we're running the flash hider to decrease our chances of getting spotted when we fire, but also we're shooting through the bushes as well. So it puts us on to about, just 2 pens, 400 assistance and about 600 damage. We do get spotted and these enemy tanks here, on our right hand side down the 9 line are starting to push across. Now I can't really deal with those tanks at the moment, but if I end up winning this side I can from this same position shoot the enemy tanks as they go towards our base. So there's really no sense of moving really, and I can't push forward anyway because I'm not going to get into a brawl with like a Belafon and all those other nasty TDs or this SU over there. This you can, pretty much, not quite one shot me, but he can take away pretty much all of our hit points in one shot. Unless he's firing HE, then he could potentially actually one shot us. So I have to be very careful, and that means I can't continue pushing across the bridge. I've just literally got to stay patient. I know the enemy tanks on the 9 line, now they've sort of won that area, they're probably going to continue to push, and then I might be able to get some shots into them. Before we do that, we finish the enemy tier 6 heavy, and now we're going to pull back, and this is what I was talking about. These enemy tanks continue that path, but thankfully I'm here to sort of deny that, and we're shooting through the bushes again so we don't actually get detected, and we should be able to confirm our second kill there. And we do spot an enemy top tier medium tank. We're going to try and get some shots into him. Unfortunately loses his spot, but we blind fire him anyway, putting us onto 1,500 damage. And the problem we've got now is just keeping these targets spotted. If they stay there and they can stay spotted, then I'm going to farm them, so they're going to have to run. What I could really do with is like one of our friendly TDs sort of coming over to keep these tanks spotted now, and then I'll be able to just continue getting the damage in. Enemy tier 7 medium tank makes a mistake of the enemy heavy tank did, and we're able to shut him down for our third kill of the game, putting us on to just shy now of 2,000 damage, bringing us into an 8 versus 5. But this game is certainly not over, and it definitely gets right down to the wire on this one. Enemy Tiger 1, I'm kind of praying he makes the same mistake and goes up that ridge. Unfortunately for me, he doesn't, and I overpeak just a little bit, and now I'm going to start to lose hit points potentially from that enemy tier 8 medium tank. As you can see, he does put a shot into us. We actually pull back down just in case he was smart enough to blind fire where I was there, and then we would have lost another, another chunk of hit points we couldn't really afford to lose. So unfortunately for me, that medium tank I'm pretty sure is just staying there waiting to get shots into us, but unless our friendly tanks spot them, I'm not going to be able to get shots into him. Enemy Tiger though does actually get spotted crossing, and we put a big shot into him, damaging his ammo rack there, putting us onto about 2,200 damage. Our friendly TD puts a shot into him as well, bringing him onto a one shot now. It'd be nice to try and confirm that tank if we can, but so far I don't have any shots at him where he is. I need to stay a little bit patient, and as I say, I still feel like that enemy medium tank, I've just got a hunch, is just going to continue to sit in the K0 corner and wait for me to get detected. So that is something I have to bear in mind, but unless my friendly TD goes and spots him, I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. So it is going to have to be a patient game. Now 3 of our friendly heavy tanks have pushed down that 1-2 line, but that is an awkward line to push when you have enemy tanks in that A1 area, because they can potentially be quite difficult to dig out. We do put a shot into SU-130, and unfortunately for us, as predicted, we get shot when we get detected there by that enemy tier 8 medium tank sort of sat at K0. So now I kind of know, for me in my mind, if we're going to win this game, I need my friendly TD to go and spot him. If he goes back, our friendly TD, which is probably sat there at K7, which looks like he's going to do, then I can farm him. I know he's lost a lot of hit points, but he's a Vindicator. He's a top tier tank destroyer. Obviously, the emphasis was really on the top tier tanks to push and spot for me now. Bear in mind that I am on 176 hit points, so my one shot to pretty much all of the tanks left remaining. And yeah, I have to rely on my team to spot for me now. I just can't go one mistake where I get spotted. I could easily just lose my tank, and that's going to decrease our chances of winning. And I've also had quite a good game on 2,400 damage, got 3 kills, 400 assistance. I opt not to shoot that enemy TD because I didn't want to risk getting spotted there. There was a good chance that I probably would have done. And again, I know that tank's behind me, so if I can kill the tanks behind us at the K90, which is an enemy one-shot Tiger and an enemy tier 8 medium tank, then I only have to worry about what's in front of me, which means there's more places I can play safer, where I can get shots and then pull back into cover. But right now I can't do anything, so you can see I'm sort of pinging, trying to let them know what I think they need to do in order to break this deadlock, because at the moment we are losing this game. If it goes on like this, we will lose the game if it finishes 4-5. The enemy Tiger does get spotted by the Vindicator. He is a one-shot and the Vindicator takes him out. That brings us back to a 4 versus 4. I'm still pretty certain that that medium tank at this point is in K9. So I'm hoping the Vindicator continues his path, spots the enemy medium tank, I'm able to get shots into him, maybe we can double tap him and take him out of this game, and then again we've got more opportunities available to us. This rock's kind of preventing me from getting shots in if he does get spotted, so I need to move, because our Vindicator is moving upon this location now, so he has a chance of spotting this enemy medium tank. We have him in a crossfire if he gets spotted, so I just need to hope that our Vindicator spots him. He does spot him, and this is perfect because now I have a shot into him. He turns his turret to shoot the Vindicator. We put him on to about 500 hit points there. So now at least he's been forced out of that position, and he can't shoot us no more from that location whilst he's running away. But it'd be nice if our Vindicator can chase him down, but I've got to be very patient. You can say it's 4 versus 4. I am a one-shot. The enemy SG-130 gets spotted. Yeah, I'm 100% a one-shot to that tank. Unfortunately, I don't have an opportunity to get a shot into him. At the moment, we know for certain that there was an enemy tank at A1. We know where the SU is. And the medium tank which was running is now been spotted in the middle of the map at sort of F6. But we can't overextend to shoot him, because if we do, we'll get taken out by that enemy SU. But hopefully maybe our tank destroyers at sort of K3 might potentially have shots at him, or I'm not sure if our heavy tank at D2 will, because he's probably getting held here by that enemy Emil, I think, top tier heavy tank at A1 location. So again, we're just going to have to be patient, and it looks like our Vindicator is going to move. That might, open up windows of opportunity for us to get some shots in. I think at the moment it's going to be 50-50 if we win this game, if it goes down to the end. Right now I suspect the enemy team will probably win on damage done, but I'm not certain about that by any means. But we're on close to 3,000 damage with 3 kills, and there is still a lot of damage available to us. Our Vindicator moves in. I'm hoping he shuts down this enemy one-shot medium tank. If he can kill him, that's going to be fantastic. He's got an opportunity to. He does kill him. That's definitely opened the game for us. And I'm going to try and get in a position to cover him from this enemy SU. Unfortunately, the other top tier TD is pushing our Vindicator. Our Vindicator is in a lot of bother now, and I want to try and help him I'm probably not going to be able to save him, unfortunately. I just want to at least make, you know, his sacrifice, you know, worth it, which it already is, because he's already killed a top tier medium tank for us and opened up the game. The SU is now dropped, and he's fell, and he's in a, you know, terrible position. He's going to get taken out here, whether it be by myself or a friendly teammate. Looking for the final kill shot here, should have it, but it gets taken out by our friendly Nashon there. And we're now back to a 3 versus 2. Left against, I think, an Emil and another Soviet tank destroyer, 2 top tier TDs left remaining. But we're on 3,000 damage now, 800 assistance with 3 kills. And we're now, yeah, we're in a 3 versus 2, so we will win this game by default if it comes to the end, if we don't lose any tanks. And we do have the hit point advantage as well. But I still want more out of this game, and I'm going to keep going to see if we can try and get the kills. I'm hoping I can try and move in and take out this Emil at the 8-1 area. I guess what I'm concerned about the most is, at the moment, is where is this enemy TD gone? I did just poke that ridge because I wanted to see if I could spot him before I moved. But I'm going to just try and move in now and see if we can get up to a ridge at sort of A4 area to try and shoot the Emil in the side, because our friendly heavy tank in sort of B2, I think he's in a one-shot. And he can't really move without the Emil killing him. So I need to try and turn the Emil around and try and get some shots in. I'm not entirely sure of how many hit points the Emil has left. We know the Soviet tank destroyer is pretty healthy, so that is a problem. But I'm just going to try and go in and I want more out of this game. I don't want to sit there to the end. Also, I can't really run the risk of the Emil just killing our friendly heavy tank and then going down to the end, B2. Might end up losing it. We've had a lot of work, and it has been one of those games where it's definitely been one of those games where we had to have been very, very patient. But we're going to try and move in to, like I say, if we can get into maybe the A3 position, we can get side shots into the Emil 2. He has been spotted, and he is on about, sorry, the Emil 1, but he has been spotted, and he's on about 500 hit points, so he's a 2-shot to us. So I think most of the hit points is with the enemy SU. My biggest concern is at the moment is the SU comes behind me and finishes me off. So I just want to, you know, the only way around avoiding that is to kill the Emil as quickly as possibly can. So we're going to need to move in whilst he is isolated and by himself, and, you know, before we get support by his friendly tank destroyer, basically. So far we haven't been spotted, so that should give us the opportunity to get one shot into this enemy tank. At least that's what we're hoping for. We can poke this ridge, use our 15 degrees of gun depression. He's not going to be expecting us to come from here. I do have the opportunity to get the shot in. Unfortunately, we don't actually have the shots at that angle, which I was hoping for. So we're going to have to move round up onto this ridge to see if we can get a better shot from here. But unfortunately, we get detected. That's going to alert ourselves to the Emil, and then we failed to hit him or pen him. We could have killed him with that one shot, and that was a real pain not to hit that shot, to be honest with you, because he's now backed up into cover, and we could have finished him off and would have made our game so much easier. The problem I've got is, like I say, I am a one-shot to this tank, so pushing him is it's going to be very, very difficult. I'm hoping our Nashon can spot him, is what I'm trying to say. We've only got a minute left, but I guess he's playing it smart, you know, with a minute left, thinking, right, as long as we don't die. But also, I just want to try and kill the Emil. So I'm going to move in. I'm thinking in the back of my mind that the SU is going to come behind me. But he hasn't. He's actually come behind our other friendly tanks. He's killed the enemy OD. And now this is awkward. We miss our opportunity. We bounce our shot on the enemy tank destroyer. He's probably going to kill our Nashon, because it's not a great deal our Nashon can do in this situation. The best thing he can do is land one big shot into this SU and give me a chance of finishing him off. I think he does actually land a shot, which is important. We're going to quickly, while he's fighting, to see if we can squeeze in a shot into the enemy Emil 1 here. Unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity, but then we do. Of course, we get one shot in, but we low roll. We wasn't able to finish him off. We leave him on 7 hit points. SU's coming round. Is this going to be it? No, we land the shot with 4 seconds to go. I'm not going to get a chance to get a shot into this Emil, but he's not going to get a chance to get a shot into me, and that brings us an end to the replay. And thankfully, we do enough to actually get the win just in the last dying seconds of that game. Put us on to 4 kills, 3,600 damage, 800 assistance, confirming the ace tanker and high caliber with over 2,300 base XP. You see on Nashon also had a really good game there, and the Vindicator certainly played a part as well. So that brings us into the video. Thank you for your amazing support, and as always, happy tanking.
Enemies panic when they hear that quack. Random